what advice could you give on one where Islam is strange in the household and everything does according to Islam is disliked by parents, such as growing a beard, etc.?
Question from the UK, from our brother Hadith from London. Allah bless him and guide him, and bless and guide his family as well. With regards to Islam being strange in the household, such as growing a beard or any other religious practice that's from the Sunnah in which your parents don't agree with or they don't know about, or it's strange to them, or whatever the case may be. It's one of two scenarios that we have. The first scenario is that you live in a household and you're the only Muslim, and they are non-Muslims. And the second scenario is that you are, let's say for example, I don't know, it's hypothetically, you're the only practicing Muslim in your household. Or they practice, but you're the only practicing Muslim that's upon the Sunnah. You've learnt, you've benefited, you've studied, you've learned the hadiths, you've heard them, you've been taught. You know about the Salaf al-Salih, the righteous predecessors, the early Muslims, the golden days of the Muslims. And this is the true way to practice Islam. And you're the only one. That's the second scenario. In both scenarios, you're going to need a great deal of patience. In both scenarios, I advise you to treat your family kindly. Be soft and be easy with them. Never force your opinion upon them. Do not argue, do not fight. If they ask you, why do you have a beard, why don't you shave your face? You basically tell them what you've learned. That's the best way to do it. And not to say the hadith says this and say, I learned this. Pay close attention to this wisdom. When you say, قال الإمام البخاري رحمه الله, you mention the hadith and this and that, don't shave the beard, so on and so forth. The first thing that your family is going to do, walaikum salam, they're going to argue with you, and they're going to teach you and tell you, you don't understand that hadith. You don't know what you're talking about. That hadith is outdated. No, it's not literal. But the moment you say, I met a great scholar from such and such, this brother taught me, this sister taught me, and that's what they explained to me, and I feel comfortable with that, and I like the style, they're still going to argue with you, but you've removed a big deal of pressure from yourself. And you've automatically made your position better with regards to them attacking you. Because I'm just following what I feel is right. Everybody understand this? I could be mistaken in my interpretation, this teacher, whatever the case may be, but I'm just following. But the moment you yourself mention it and quote it, they're going to attack your ijtihad. And they're going to say, you don't know what you're talking about, you're extremists. And the moment you say that you get it from a trustworthy source, you automatically can counterpunch them as well. Because they will say, no, that's not true, we've practiced Islam for 100 years and this and that. Well, you have a teacher, and then who else has a teacher? I do. So who's right and who's wrong? This person studied, he knows the scripture, and so does your teacher, your local imam. Everybody understand this? You're going to outbox them in this match. But the moment you say it yourself and you quote it yourself, they're going to do what? Going to attack your understanding. Or even deeper than that, they're going to say, well, just yesterday you had a girlfriend. Just yesterday you were playing video games all day long. Just yesterday you were smoking weed in the basement. Now you're this holy guy today and we're all sinners. That's what they want to say to you. But the moment you deflect that and you put the responsibility on the learning person, you don't have that problem to worry about. And then perhaps they'll say, well, who is this guy that you're listening to online? What are his credentials? Where did they study? Maybe you can listen to him. Maybe you can ask him yourself. And that teacher may be more eloquent than you. Maybe more learned than you. Obviously, the teacher. Everybody understands? They may have the ability to speak to your family in a manner in which you don't. Let alone the fact that this teacher is not their son. Everybody understand this? This teacher is not their nephew, their uncle. They want to look at you as a boy no matter what. You don't know what you're talking about. You live in our house, we feed you. The father says, I go to work every day. Who do you think pays your bills? Because my beard is shaved. If I grew a beard, I wouldn't be able to pay your bills. So what are you saying, that I'm a sinner? But he's not going to say that to the what? Who's a stranger. So you have to use hikmah. And this is from the greatest lessons that Ibrahim alayhi salam taught us. Allah taught us about in the Quran. Who broke the idols? Who smashed the idols? Of course he did it. Of course they know that he did it. There was a young man who was talking about the idols. I will break them when you go out. He said, no, the big idol did it. Go ask him. Insulted them, make them look stupid and foolish. You know the idols don't move, Abraham. You know they can't talk. So why are you worshiping them then? Everybody understand this? Using hikmah, outflanking your opponent. Wallahu alam.